Alright, after Saber, we can finally talk about Archer. And I have to say, this guy has a really cool kit, at least for me. As always, we first go through his kit, then I'll share some builds, talk about his damage output, his playstyle and synergy, and finally my personal thoughts. So leave a like if you find this video helpful, and let's get started. Alright, Archer. Now if you already know about his kit, you can skip this part. Archer is a 5-star quantum unit following the path of Hunt. As such, he's extremely single target, which is not a good thing in the current meta. For his base stats, typical of a Hunt unit, he has decent HP and defense, but pretty high attack and speed, with a massive 240 energy cost ultimate. On to his traces. His basic attack is your standard single target hit. Archer's skill is the main part. He first enters this unique state and then deals damage to a single target. Now in this state, after using a skill, his turn will not end. You can repeatedly use a skill until you have no skill points left, or you have used 5 skills. It's kinda like Castor's dragon. Also, using this skill increases the skill's damage by 100%, and it can stack up to 2 times. So using a skill more will increase its damage. Also, one thing to keep in mind is that this skill consumes 2 skill points instead of 1. So you might need someone like Sparkle on the team for extra skill point generation. Now either after using 5 skills or when you have no skill points left, he will exit this unique state. Also, aside from these 2 ways, you can also end this state whenever you want. In actual combat, you will get a cancel or exit button right below the skill button, and pressing that will end his turn. Aside from this state can also end when all the enemies on each wave are defeated. For his ultimate, it's also a single target hit with a massive damage multiplier. Now this ultimate does have a pretty high energy cost of 240, but keep in mind that each of his skill will give you 30 energy. So let's say you use his skill 3 to 4 times per turn. With that, he will gain around 90 to 120 energy every turn. So basically it won't take that long to get his ultimate back. This ultimate also gives him 2 charges, which you can have up to 4. As for what these charges do, for that we have his talent. Whenever any ally attacks a target, Archer will consume 1 charge and do a follow-up attack to that target. This is also a single target hit. But the cool thing is that it will also recover 1 skill point. So basically every charge is a source of an extra skill point. Lastly, his technique. It basically deals AoE damage to all enemies when entering battle, and then gives 1 charge to Archer. This is the only attack in Archer's kit that is not single target. After traces, we have his passives. The first one increases the max skill point cap by 1, and if you have Sparkle with him, which you will have most of the time, it's 3 extra skill point slots. The second passive gives 1 charge to Archer when entering battle. Lastly, his third passive. After allies gain skill points, if you have 4 or more skill points, it increases Archer's crit damage by 60% for 1 turn. Now this won't be an issue with Sparkle, and you kinda want to make sure that you have at least 4 skill points before taking a turn with Archer, as you should at least do 2 skills every turn, so that you can maximize the skill damage boost from a skill. For his bonus stats, he gets quantum damage, crit rate and HP, which is kind of wasted on Archer, and I really hope they change this to either attack or crit damage. Overall, I kinda like this kit. It brings back Sparkle to the meta after she was power crept by Sunday, and this kind of skill point game is very reminiscent of how we used to play Imbabe de Lune. So I kinda like it. But being a single target focused hunt unit also brings some challenges with builds. Let's talk about that now. By the way, if you're enjoying the content, please consider subscribing, as it does help this channel grow and motivates me to make more content for you guys. On to his builds, starting with his signature Lightcone. It's a very basic kind of Lightcone with a very specific condition. It first increases crit rate, and then if the max skill point limit is 6 or more, like how we get with Archer's talent, and then if the wearer uses skill, it then increases attack even more, up to 4 stacks. Kinda like how Archer can use his skill multiple times in 1 turn. Now this is obviously made for Archer, but the effect is nothing crazy. In fact, the Hertastore Lightcone at S5 is pretty close in damage. So that's a good thing, I guess. And even outside the Hertastore Lightcone, since Archer's damage source is basically skill and ultimate, which is very common, you can basically use most of the 4-star options. I'll make a whole damage chart for the guide, but TLDR, you don't need this Lightcone at all. Just use the Hertastore Lightcone and you're fine. For Relics, the most common set for any quantum DPS is the Genius set. Also, since it's all about skill and ultimate, the Scholar set can also be one of his best sets. Now this set does provide some crit rate, making it a bit easier to build crit on him, which you definitely will have to. Given he's a single target nuker, you will need a lot of crit rate. But if you get lucky with substats, the Genius set overall will provide more damage. For ornaments, it's the same as with Saber. It's all about skill and ultimate, and kind of follow-up attacks. So either the Inner Salsado or the Rutilin Arena set. Just pick the one with better substats. For overall stats, here's the build. This one is with the free Hertastore Lightcone, and the overall stats are pretty much what you expect for a hunt unit. Like really high crit rate, at least 85% in my opinion. And for that, a main stat crit rate body is a must. For the boots, I recommend attack, because not only you have Sparkle for quick action advance, you also don't want to go super fast. You always want to make sure that you have at least 4 skill points available before taking a turn, so that you can do at least 2 skills. It will maximize the skill damage boost and also provide you 60 energy. A single skill is just a waste of his turn. For the rest, you get damage on the orb and attack on the robe. Now here the crit damage may look a bit low, but Archer gets more crit damage from his passive, and he will most likely have Sparkle on the team, and she gives out a ton of crit damage. Using this build, here's a damage chart. I've used Sparkle and Tribi as supports. Now this is with the Hurt Astro Lightcone, so with this signature, the damage will go up. And also beside Tribi, other characters may have better synergy with Archer. For that, let's talk about his synergies. Now aside from Archer, you definitely need a sustain because he is insanely squishy. And for that, any sustain who can generate a lot of skill points will be best. So Locha or Gallagher or maybe Fushuan. You can pick any based on your roster. But the main topic are the supports. We have 2 other slots. One needs to be a skill point generator. Sparkle is the best option, but Hanya can also work if you don't have Sparkle. His overall team reminds me of so much how we played Mbappe de Lune. Anyways, for the second slot, now we have some good options. The most common one is going to be Tribi. She is very SP friendly, provides insane buffs, and deals damage herself. And given how single target focused Archer is, Tribi's AoE attacks will make up for Archer's lack of AoE. One other character who can be good for this job will be Cypher. Her AoE true damage ultimate can be great for Archer. Now there are a few things about Cypher that are kind of anti-synergistic with Archer, is that Cypher's true damage is based on the amount of damage their teammates are doing, and she records a portion of that damage from each target hit. As a result, units with AoE damage synergize really well with her, and that's also why Tribi is such a good unit to pair with Cypher. But since Archer is fully single target, it kinda makes Cypher's true damage not hit that hard. But nonetheless, she's still a good option. But aside from these two, the one character that I'm really hyped about is the newly buffed Silver Wolf. She's awesome for Archer. Like with Sparkle in his team, he does get a lot of attack and crit damage, but nothing in the line of defense down and rest pen. Tribi can also do that, but there are other teams that want Tribi more, like Castrois. And here, Silver Wolf just becomes the best option. After her buffs, she will have AoE defense down and will have more control over which type of weakness to implant with her skill. Not only that, she can be super fast and SP friendly, allowing her to generate skill points for Archer. She definitely has one of the best synergy with Archer. And finally, for all the players who have their Silver Wolf sitting in the corner unused for months, they can finally use her in a team that truly benefits from her. Overall, Archer is a solid hunt unit. He's actually too much hunt in my opinion. His extremely single target kit is fine, but also holds him back quite a bit. And that's the only issue that I have with him. If they just make either his ultimate or his skill a blast attack, not even AoE, just a blast attack, it would have been so much better. Maybe they'll do something about this in the coming weeks, but we can only hope. As a quantum unit, since now we have so many quantum supports, I'm really hyped for a mono quantum team. Maybe it was never meant for Zila. It was always meant to be played with Archer, and I'm looking forward to trying it. With that, I've finally covered all the new characters coming in the next patch. I will also make videos on the buffed units, but before that, I'm currently working on my Cypher guide, which should come out in a few days, so look forward to that. Like and sub if you enjoy my content. Thanks for watching, and I'll see you guys in the next one.